Hi, I'm Fiona Bradley, and for anybody that doesn't know me, I'm the owner of the Face Place, the aesthetics clinic in Inverness, and I am super excited to say that this is my very first podcast ever. You know that the last couple of years has been a bit of a roller coaster ride for the Face Place. I was finding myself that I was doing absolutely everything, from clients to answering calls, cleaning, everything. And I am passionate about working with clients, but I knew something had to change because really you can't keep up that pace of life. I'm not getting any younger. So I decided that for me to do what I really like doing, working with all you guys, that I needed help. So I made the decision that I was going to get a business partner, somebody that could run it from behind the scenes, just so that I could get to do what I like to do. I'm the visionary. I always walking along a beach, if my mind doesn't stop, I'm constantly thinking, what can I do next? And I annoy myself sometimes with this constant chatter, but that's just who I am, and I'm passionate about making people feel better. So I'm delighted to say that I have got my new business partner here with me today, Damon Harrison.
Hello.
Hi.
Great to be here. Your very first podcast.
How
amazing.
Imagine.
Yeah. So when I first met you, you were just that, weren't you? You were in disarray really with the business. You knew what you wanted to achieve and you knew where you wanted to go. But then you just finding the right people.
Yeah.
To
I had the
advise you.
vision and I always knew what I wanted to do, but I just find I was getting bogged down with the mundane things, as I call it, phone calls, the business side of things, really.
And the advice that you'd had from from professional people wasn't the best, really. I mean, you seem to be what we would call not set up efficiently for business,
not.
And then all them inefficiencies then. It means you've got less money to spend in the areas that you want to spend and get people to.
It's just soul-destroying, isn't it?
Yeah.
When you put your heart and soul into it. And
I see it quite a lot in business. You know, I see quite a lot of people in business where the way they're set up, and you know, and again, I'm not going to come on the podcast and have a go at accountants, but a lot of accountants have a certain way of working. There is no other way. It's just that's it, which is great. But if you're not set up efficiently for tax purposes and other purposes, then you all your money's just going to go out the door.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what was happening to you, wasn't it? I mean, the Face Place generating a good turnover, a good revenue, but then by the time you paid all the taxes and everything else that goes with it running what I would call a day-to-day business, then it becomes an issue. Yeah. And there's loads of different ways that the business can be set up legally. It's not illegal. It's just you're just setting yourself up more efficient. So you seem to be really rejuvenated, because when I first met you, you were a bit.
No, I think my passion, not for the clients, but just for the whole business side of it, was just like, you doubt yourself, don't you? When you just feel like you're knocking your head off a brick wall and not getting any further forward, but you've got this massive vision. But I'm a great believer of things happening for a reason.
Yeah.
I definitely think, like, you knew nothing about aesthetics when I met you, did you? So just tell them how we met.
So we met at networking, didn't we?
Mm-hmm.
And
not aesthetics.
No, not aesthetics. A property and business event, really. And when I met you, you were working a day a week, maybe two, in the clinic. You were really looking to just keep at that kind of level and look at other projects as well, because you still had a passion for it. And then we had a meeting. You said to me, I want to sort of transverse into something else as well as doing this for my part-time, if you like. And I came to you and I was like, Fiona, this is not a business that you scale back, and especially something that you're passionate about.
And I remember you looking at me and I thought, oh, he's not taking me serious. He's like, I think you think that I'm useless. Because you do think that about yourself a lot, don't you? But you were really thinking, is she mad? I wasn't winding it down, but pulling it back. Because maybe you said this is a business that can explode. Yeah, that's what your word was.
I think that when because I work with a lot of different people in business and different businesses, and I help people, and sometimes I'm a business partner with them, sometimes I'm just advising them. And one of the things that you can't buy for a business is passion, or two things really: passion and enthusiasm. And you had them in an absolute abundance, but it was, you were just treading water with everything, weren't you? You weren't really getting that projection forward.
I was stuck.
Yeah, and I think one of the biggest mistakes that you were making was you were trying to do everything. You were trying to run everything. You're trying to run the engine room, man the bilge pumps, and steer the ship at the same time, and it just doesn't work. And I think that, you know, even anybody watching this podcast today, if they've got a business, they need to look at how they're set up in that business, and you've got to work on it rather than in it. At the moment, you're working in it, and on it at the same time. But you're going to go more to working on it, i.e., spending time with your clients, because that's the thing
I do. I mean, it's, to me, that's not work.
Yeah.
And I say that to the clients. Like, I am so lucky. I've got amazing clients, and they're more like my friends now. Like, it's like catching up. You know, it's like free coffee mornings all the time I get. It's not work. It's just amazing what I do, and seeing, you know, their faces light up when they come in for treatments, and just that they've invested in themselves. Because, you know, people don't know what stories people have got, do they? You know, behind the scenes, and being able to look in the mirror for the first time for a long time. And I know that sounds dramatic, but it's absolutely true. Quite a lot of my clients, they can't look in a mirror. You know, I mean, how sad is that? And when I look at them, I think you look gorgeous, but they in here don't feel it. But by taking that little step forward, and it's scary to take a step forward to come into the clinic for the first time and to get a little bit of treatment to make themselves feel good, and seeing them being able to look in the mirror. I've got photos of a few of the clients doing that, and honestly, there's no feeling, like, it's amazing. Like, I'm selfish because it's me. I just love that feeling. So,
what better business than making people feel better about themselves? I mean, you know, when you're looking for business ingredients, you know, that's got to be up there as one of the top ingredients. You've got a business that's going to make people feel better about themselves. You know, and when you asked me to come on board as the business manager, I was like, what do I know about aesthetics? So, as I always do, I've quickly learned, and then I've now realised the ethos of it and the draw of it, because
the stigma attached to it's not what it really is it?
It's not what I thought it was.
Yeah, me too.
I mean, you get what I thought it was, you know, people just filling themselves full of filler.
Like the duck lips and the
so
fake cheeks.
So they can get the trout pout and they can look as fake and as false as the day's long. And for me, I could never identify with that. I could never identify, surely you can't look that bad that you wanted to look like this.
Yeah.
But then you realise that that's just what the media is selling you. That's just the few rare cases where people, like anything else, you know, everyone goes for a drink. There's only a certain amount of people become alcoholics, and it's the same thing here. I think with aesthetics, you can take it too far, but I can also understand that as well, because I put myself forward for treatments.
He did.
Yeah.
Look at the lips. No, I'm joking. He didn't get his lips done.
But I put myself forward for treatments because when we went to the aesthetics conference, and I thought, like, if you're going to help run a business from behind the scenes, you need to understand the business, and that's why I did it. But then I've seen, like, changes. I've seen how it makes you feel. You know, it makes you feel better about yourself. You know,
tell them what you got done in case people do think.
Of course, they'll be thinking obviously I had fillers on it. So it was microneedling, because you know, let's be honest. Some people don't want to be injected. Can't stand needles as such. But I had this a thing called the Secret RF microneedling. They numb your face with cream, and I did this in front of 100 people or 50 people, whatever it was, in the aesthetics conference. I just volunteered to be the test dummy, and I've got to admit I was a bit nervous because I was like, oh no, what's my pain threshold? My pain threshold might not be, but it was just nothing really. It was like a little scratch, a little tickle, if you like. and they put this cream on, and then they microneedle your face, and you have a little bit of redness for me it was about an hour or something, was it? And then after that was all right. I think some people might be a little bit longer, but then I was like, oh, my skin feels really good, and especially the next day. And it's a course of 3 treatments. I've had my second one, and I've been going places, and people have been going to me, oh, you must be enjoying a retired life. You're looking so fresh-faced. Nobody's going to look 20 years younger yet, but I'm getting there. But they're saying that you've got your fresh face. So I've actually quite enjoyed how it's changed my psyche around treatments. The whole process really changed my perspective on it, because it was non-invasive. It wasn't much of a treatment in terms of actually physically feeling the effects. And the microneedling is just really rejuvenating the skin process and the collagen and things like that. See, I've become an expert on it.
Hi, using all these words now.
So yeah, and I found the benefits where I was going around. People have been saying how fresh face I looked. I'm only on the second treatment. I've got the third treatment, which will get in a couple of weeks. But you start to look forward to it. You start to go, oh, actually, the skin's looking a bit better, and people, especially people that's not seen you for a little while. Even just a few weeks, will go, oh, you're looking so much fresher in the face. So,
and I think aesthetics is not. I know it is changing in the way it's becoming more of a longevity.
Yeah.
So these treatments that you're talking about, it does make you look better, but it stops things from getting worse. So it's like investing in your future. Because let's face it, who likes these lines and wrinkles that we're getting?
Yeah, I think if I was, I just wish I could have looked at this about 10 years ago. Because, the thing is that people might think, oh, well, that's something I'll worry about when I'm 50 or whatever. But I wish I'd maybe looked at that maybe 10 years ago. Maybe the technology wasn't there 10 years ago, but 10 years ago, then it's going to stop a lot of things happening.
And I read a book, and that give me food for thought. You do wish that, I wish I had appreciated what I had 10 years ago. Because you didn't appreciate it. But now that you know that, appreciate what you've got now, and
Definitely.
Work on it not getting that bad. Even your fitness, you're keeping your health and fitness going, because you can keep it going. It's yourself that has to do it.
I think I once remember hearing, I think it was Gary Bracker, who's a really popular biologist, and he said that aging is the aggressive pursuit of comfort. And that really resonated with me, because I think you've got to keep yourself active. I do a lot of skipping. I know a lot of people who do running and exercise and gym. For me, I love skipping. It's a really good way of getting an all-over body workout. You don't have to do it for hours and hours a day, and it helps keep you fit. But then you couple that with what I would call non-invasive treatments, because you've obviously invested in new machinery. But not only the CRF, you've got the laser as well. So there's all that to speak about. And I think that it now gives you this little bit of, actually, I can hold back the years a little bit. And I think that's kind of what drew me to say, I'd love to get involved in this, because it's exciting, and it's giving people that feel good factor, and I think that above all else, it's non-invasive as well. So it's a lot of the treatments. So if you're afraid of needles, like I don't like needles at all.
And also, a lot of people just don't want products into their face, so that's exactly, absolutely fine. You respect that. But I think, and a lot of people are really scared to come to ask about treatments. They've got this think that people are going to think they're vain. I was exactly the same.
I used to think that about people, to be honest.
Yeah, so did I. I absolutely did. Or they think it's just for the rich and famous, or they're scared, what if it changes, or what if I do come out with big lips? But for me, it's not about any of that. One, the older you get, you shouldn't care what people think of you, because people are going to talk about you no matter what you do. They'll talk about you for looking sad and old, or they'll talk about you for looking good. So choose which one. You can't win with some people. The
world's full of negativity.
And it's their insecurity. So don't take that on board.
I always say
upsets me
now, as I've got older, that's one thing I have enjoyed with age, is that as I got to about 40, I really stopped caring, stopped caring. Like before, I used to think I didn't care what people thought. Got to about 40 and I stopped caring. By the time I've got to 50 now, I really don't care. I really don't care. It's like, you know, it's anything you do in the public, you're always going to get people with negative comments. This podcast will get negative comments. Right, that's just nature of people. I feel sorry for people when they want to be negative towards other folk. But listen, it's the way life is. I think that that the Face Place as a business now and as a service to its clients is really going to grow, and I'm excited.
And I wanted to make it a place that people felt comfortable with.
Yeah.
You know, 'cause I think my background, for anybody that doesn't know me, is I've been 35 years in the nursing and midwifery profession. So if I've taken anything at all from that, is working with people and communicating, and I do like getting the crack with people.
Well,
so
that's what I was going to say to you. I mean, how did you get into?
Yeah.
Because coming from midwifery.
Yeah, and as I say, I was a bit like you, to be perfectly honest. I didn't know anything about aesthetics, nothing. So how did I get into it? So 35 years working as a midwife. All I did? I've got a long list of things I did in nursing. I was like a wee bit of a challenge and a bit of adventure. So I've worked as a midwife in Australia. Here, I was an offshore medic for a little while. That was a bit of a challenge. I think if I can do that, I can do anything. And then after a while, I was, nursing was brilliant for my lifestyle.
Didn't you not work for the police as well?
I did. I was working in the cell block for a while. That was really good fun. I actually really enjoyed that.
We could do a few podcasts on that, maybe.
Yes.
All the stories from
If I could swear, I would swear on this, because my name I used to think was off. That's all you got to. But anyway, it was very nice. So, but there comes a point that you think, oh, I need a change, and I was just fed up. I was scunnered.
Police cells.
I think I don't even know if it was the police cells. I think it was just nursing, I think I'd done it for so long, and you get to that stage you don't think you can do anything else, because you have your kids and you work around what's best for family or life, and it did suit my husband and I, because the shifts and we could work it out. But then I was thinking, oh my golly, I'm so bored. But I always had this feeling inside me that I wanted to do my own business, but again, being an island girl, you don't want to put yourself out there, and you are reserved. And I did try a couple of things, failed miserably, me add, and that thing, I'm not trying anything else.
Though, you can't have success.
Absolutely.
I've always said that.
I know.
I've had businesses that have not been a success. I mean, I don't know how you class a failure, to be honest, but didn't work, did for whatever reason. I don't like the word failure, because if something's not a success, you're not learning anything. Yeah. If you get everything right all the time, what are you learning? You're learning nothing. So you need that, really, don't you?
Absolutely. So anyway, I was fed up, and when I did my nurse prescribing years ago, I was on the course with this lovely girl, Amanda, if you're watching, from Ireland, who was an aesthetics nurse, and she said to me in her Irish accent, sure, if you want to come on, you should be doing this aesthetics. I was like, aesthetics? I don't know anything about aesthetics, and I had never heard of dermal fillers, nothing. But she must have planted the seed, because I thought, I'm a bit like you. I like to know a bit about whatever somebody tells me. If I don't know about it, I'll go and look up.
Find something about it.
But I said, that was years ago, and I kept going back to it. Should I do aesthetics? Should I do aesthetics? And then I just thought, just before COVID hit, I was really scunnered, and I thought, what's the worst that can happen? Well, I just go and put myself onto a basic course and see how I get on. And if I like it, maybe I'll do a wee bit more, but if I don't like it, I know that's it. So I went off to Aberdeen, and honestly, I was buzzing coming out of that course, absolutely buzzing. And I just knew that from day one, that was definitely for me. It was totally different to what I ever expected. Totally different. Good. So then I just started my own business, started off renting a room out with my lovely friend Julia, I'm her prescriber, because legalities, you got to prescribe the Botox. And then from there I went to another room, but each one were too small, and I don't think I well, I don't think, I know that I didn't realise it was going to get so busy so quick. It just kind of exploded. Then I moved to where I am now, and as I say, it just got too busy for me. Like, that's the absolute truth.
It grew quick, didn't it?
Grew quick,
Yeah.
very, very, very quick, which I'm delighted about.
Yeah, well, exactly, yeah.
Proud of myself for doing that, but also recognise that I need help.
Yeah, I think that's the thing in business, in any business. You've got to recognise your shortcomings. You've got to recognise what departments you're not strong in, what departments you're failing in, and you've also got to recognise you're doing too much.
Yeah.
I think that's. I've made these mistakes myself. I've run businesses, and I ran a business, and I just, you get to the point where you're not facilitating it properly because you've either done it too long, you've lost interest in it, whatever. And I think you've got to recognise that fairly quickly. And I think it's been good for me to see where you was when I met you, to see where you are now just in a few months, how excited you are for it. Yeah, well, it's all back. Yeah. And you can't, that's an ingredient you can't put into a business. Yeah. You know, you've got to have that excitement and passion for it.
So I know you were nothing to do with aesthetics either. So tell them what your background is.
Well, I'm a tradesman, so plumbing and heating engineer really is my trade. Qualified Sparky and do renewables, and have a construction company. We build new build houses, or we do high-end renovations, so like £250,000 plus type things. But I've also been around a business family. So my dad was in business for a lot of years. I've got family now in the area that are in business for various businesses, and it's probably more so in the last sort of 4 or 5 years that I've really understood the proper business, how important a business structure is. So what happened was I started to change my business structure and see like great results from it, and then that made people like yourself start to tap me on the shoulder and say, look, can we speak about certain things? And then that's where I've come from. So I'm still involved in property, and I still have a number of projects on the go in property. But I've got to say I've really enjoyed coming into the aesthetics and learning all about that.
Can we just say that you're not going to be doing any treatments? So
I'll do
just
treatments.
Clear that up.
I'll do treatments. No.
So you see Damon trying to sneak in with his gloves on, say no.
If you see me with a
Do
mask
not
on
let
and
him near you,
and the gloves. Yeah, no, listen, I've enjoyed doing the training. I've enjoyed doing the training, especially on the machines, a bit more from I want to understand the business.
Yeah. And I love that you've put yourself out there, because you have, that's out of your comfort zone, and come along to our training, and you've totally dived into it. You really have.
I think it's okay for me to like run the mechanics of the business and say, right, well, we need to do this and we need to that, and create projections and cash flows and all this and that, and that's fine. But can you do that 100% to the best of your ability if you don't understand the business? And you've got to understand the human side of the business. Yeah. I wanted to do the treatments, i.e. be a test dummy, if you like, so that I can understand what clients were coming in for. And it was really opened my eyes as to why they come to the business, because that's what they're looking for. And it's sort of become a little bit, for me now, I'm like, oh, I can't wait for my next treatment.
Book me in.
So it's and don't get me wrong, I'll still want to see some of the treatments. I still want to continue doing some of the training, but yeah, unfortunately, as much as everybody's going to be disappointed, I'm not going to.
Not going to be.
I'm not going to be doing the treatments.
Any faces.
No, yeah. I'll leave that to the professionals.
And our last training was on our new super duper laser CO. I know.
What a machine.
First the Highlands to get it.
First in the islands to get this new laser machine, and Zeo Plus, as it's called, isn't it? And it does 27 indications. See, I've been listening.
He probably knows more about it than I do, because you get into every little.
I do. I start to. What I do though is I don't like to not know something. So if somebody did sort of ask me a question, a function or something, go, oh, does this laser? I like to just know the answer rather than not. So. And then I get quite interested from a business point of view as well, because let's be honest, that is my job. Is where can we expand the business into? And I know we've got great expansion plans, which we'll discuss again on another podcast. Yeah. So by understanding what machinery can do and what technology can do, is then enables me to bring some ideas for expansion and integrate them. And what I love about the Zeo Plus laser machine is it's an absolute game changer for people and their confidence. I mean, my daughter, bless her, she's coming out the other side of having bad acne, and it was debilitating for her. Can't get the words out, and it does. It's really, now we've got a machine that can really help with that. So,
and I think when you can relate to how bad your daughter felt, because when I was 16 in school, I was so sporty. I used to do every sport, so constantly in your shorts and your t-shirt, and then I broke out in psoriasis, just covered in it all over my face. Thankfully I don't have it now, but when you've gone through something like that yourself, you'll do anything to help other people get better, because it is awful and you don't know what it's like until you've had it for yourself, because you know what your daughter's been through.
Exactly, and I know what she's been through, and then I'm not one of these. You've heard me on about dispelling egos, and I'm not one of these guys with an ego, and I'm quite in touch with what goes on around me. And I know that there's a lot of women who, stretch marks from giving birth, cellulite, cesarean scars, all these things that can be treated now with this machine, with what I keep going on about, with a non-invasive procedure. And I think that it's an absolute game changer, because I feel sorry for the female population having to go through childbirth, because it's horrendous on their bodies. It's so exactly, and I don't think that the male population just in its entirety appreciates what that involves and what it does to a woman's body. So I think with this technology that you've got there, the CRF, the laser machines, I think it's an absolute game changer. And I know little about aesthetics.
I have to pinch myself to think, have I really got this technology in my clinic now? Because it's really every single client that can walk in the door now can get some kind of treatment. Because before, not everybody's suitable for some of the treatments I had. There's medical indications, and obviously there is slight, pregnancy, that's a no-no. There is slight indications that they can't have it, but for the 99% of people that come in the clinic door can get some kind of treatment now, which is amazing. I
won't mention it unless you mention it, because but one of the ladies that was in for the treatment on the training day for the laser, and she had the treatment around her nose and her face. What a difference! One treatment.
She's got in her diary circled for her next treatment day.
Yeah, exactly. And she just came in the last minute to act as a test on me.
It's like little spider veins she had down here, and it's like rubbing them out with a rubber, isn't it?
It was just literally like, I think what I would
addictive.
Yeah,
that's me doing it. It's addictive.
Yeah, I've got to admit, I was right into it. I was doing the veins on the legs and everything.
I think my tongue, when I get concentrating something, my tongue comes out.
And I think it was like real life airbrushing.
Yes, exactly.
It was literally like you were airbrushing a photograph. And
that's a brilliant way
maybe that's a strap line for the company.
Yes,
real life airbrushing.
You're right.
But no, listen, I've really enjoyed it, and I'm super chuffed with the opportunity to you've offered me to come on board. It was great.
I think we seem to just gel. I just love what you've put in already.
Good.
To help, and I will annoy you constantly. Wanting, how can we do this better, Damon? Can we do this better?
Yeah, exactly. But as you put your team together, we're feeding off your enthusiasm. If I don't think I'd have been so keen to get involved if I didn't see the passion in it, and the passion from you, and how much you really love this business. I mean, it's not just something you enjoy. And I think that I always say I said this to my kids: don't do what society needs you to do. Go and do your hobby as you're living, and you'll have a great life. And I think that's kind of what you're doing now. You're doing something you're really passionate about. And I think, let's be honest, forget money, you would do it anyway.
Yeah, and I saw that growing up. My granddad and my dad had their own business, and my dad had lorries, and we used to say, oh, God, he's out clapping his lorries again. But he didn't see it as work. He was he was so passionate about it, you know. So I don't know whether that's rubbed off on me, not for lorries, but on a different thing, or I never really got that, because I think when you work, you know, I was always working shifts and nursing, and you just kind of go along with it until you find something that you really, really, really do want to do. You don't see it as work.
For me, that's a massive mistake that we've all made, and people are still making, is that doing what you have to pay the bills or create a certain lifestyle, whatever it is. And I think if you get up in the morning and you have to drag yourself out of bed and you're driving to work going, oh my God, I've got another day of this, you need to change that.
And waiting for that piddly wee paycheck at the end of the month.
Paycheck to come in,
it's
exactly,
gone 2 days after you've got it.
Well, exactly, and I think that, you know, swapping your time for money is not a good thing to do either. And you know, it's why, you know, what I like about what you're doing is that people are working in the business. You're making sure that they've got more than a living out of it.
Yeah, and I want to provide that for other people as well. You know, there's so much to go round. You know, you don't need to keep it to yourself.
No, exactly.
I don't see it as cutthroat or other people being threats. You know, just get on with it. Just do your own thing and share what you know with other people.
On what you're doing.
Yeah, absolutely. And we are going to have another podcast about the machines as well. And we've just really grazed over it just now.
Oh yeah. You're going to do a few episodes on the machines and that, and that's, again, there's so much material. But I'm honoured to be on board. I'm honoured to be on the first podcast.
I can't believe that's our first podcast.
I know. First one in and done with. So thank you very much for having me.
Thank you, Damon. I'm really excited as to where this is all going. So if you enjoyed today's podcast, please support me. As you know, it's my first one, and we will be doing more. The next one, next couple, we'll be talking about, I've got a client on actually that'll be telling her real experience from the Face Place. I've also got Jojo, who is our new team member of the Face Place, talking all about skins and our new devices. And wait till you see her skin. She looks amazing. She's like a wee porcelain doll, but you'll know what I'm talking about when you see her. Really, really enjoyed today. Thank you, Damon.
Thank you.
Didn't know what was in store, but I am quite good at talking, I've been told. I used to get put in the cupboard when I was in school for talking. So yes, thank you very much for everybody out there for listening. And if you've enjoyed it, I'd love you to press the button down below for subscribe. And also, if you want to come and see us at the Face Place, everybody's always welcome. Even if you've got something to talk to me about, you know, you don't think can be sorted, come and see us and we'll be the ones that decide, because we're the ones that know what's the best treatment for you. So we'll also pop up a link at the bottom for you to book in for your consultation. Thank you for listening.